What is going on, everybody? We're back here to talk about some Moon and Sun news, and I know I'm pretty late to this hype train with the news because of my whole microphone situation. You guys already know this is the first video on the new microphone, and because of that, I'm not going to spend too much time on uh, the superficial details, just things that are obvious, because everybody and their mother has covered this already. I'll just go through that really quickly. Starters, design wise, I like Rowlet the most. A lot of people like Rowlet for good reason. Like, it's a bird, it's a grass starter. That's a bird. I want this thing to be like the next Tornadus Tia. I just want, if any starter is going to be good, I want this one to be good. I don't really know what the hype is behind Litten. I think its design is kind of. Nothing stands out about it really. Same thing with the Sea Lion, but more so the Fire Starter because I know a lot of people like it. I don't know, it seems kind of jarring when we just had a starter that was Fire type that was based on a Fox. And I kind of like that design better, at least Fennekin. I can't speak for Delphox or Braixen. So, I guess with that out of the way, legendaries. I have to say, again, I'm really not a fan of the fire one. Or at least it's looking like it's gonna be some kind of fire type, the sun version legendary. It could really it's in previous generations, it's kind of irked me when people compared some of the newer Pokemon to like Digimons or something, or like Mechas, but this one really kind of looks like that. The reason I'm saying that is mostly because not really the body design, but the eyes, like the face. The eyes look like they're just glowing, and that gives it like a machine type look that I'm not really digging. Something just seems off about that. Maybe that's just my thing, but because of that alone, I'm probably just gonna get Moon version because I think that legendary is at least more unique looking. I'm not gonna go as far as to say that it's great, but it looks interesting enough to where I'll go for it. And now let's get to the real meat of what I want to talk about today. And ironically, the part of that information, that news, that I feel like is going to be overshadowed the most. Because everybody's going to be hyped up. Like, oh, we got new starters. We got all the new legendaries. The two cover legendaries. I'm going to spend all my time talking about that. When, to me, the more interesting part is both the region and like the character designs. And the fact that somebody pointed out on, I think it was Tumblr, that the trainer is actually going to be present in the Pokemon battles now. Kind of like how it was in XD Gale of Darkness and like Pokemon Battle Revolution. I really liked that sort of style. We're getting closer and closer to like a console looking Pokemon game, but on the handheld because of the extent of the 3DS's technology. I think that's really, really neat. And then the region is based on Hawaii apparently, which honestly I didn't see coming. Some people said that it was going to be Hawaii. Some people predicted that, like they didn't know obviously. I was sort of predicting something like Spain would be next. They did France, they did United States, which is the New York. That was Unova basically. Or I also thought, my first thought was that they were going to do like a desert theme, like an Arabian themed region. Personally, that's a good idea. And it would contrast like Hoenn, which they just did. And again, it's a little bit confusing because we're gonna get another region that's like tropical. And we just came off of Oras, so 6.8, too much water. But okay, we'll see where they take this. But most of all, I'm sort of getting more of an idea now that they might do what they did in Black and White 1. To sort of fit with the island theme, I would really love it if Game Freak went the direction of having a lot of native Pokemon, like another 150, and then making all of the campaign using only those Pokemon. Because that's something they did in Black and White 1 to like, I mean, as much as people hate on 5th gen, in reality, Gen 5, at least Black and White 1, was a huge homage to the original games, Red and Blue. Because you go into the campaign, you can only use the new Pokemon, and it's that sense of mystery that you got from Red and Blue. having known nothing about these creatures and just experimenting with everything, catching everything because you're not familiar with the Pokemon that you're seeing. I really hope that's the direction they're going because it's looking like the region is like an island because it's based on Hawaii. That would fit the theme very well. As well as the one picture, the one screenshot from the new trailer that everyone's freaking out over, how you see the trainer with a new Pokemon that probably wasn't shown like intentionally, like that wasn't the spotlight, but it was caught in the image. I would be thrilled if the campaign, like the initial campaign, had only 7th gen Pokemon and there was like 100 plus. Because the 6th gen approach was like, make as few new Pokemon as possible, the fewest of any generation, and then just pack the game, the generation, with balancing, features, mechanics, streamlining of mechanics, just completely overhauling some stuff like breeding to make that easier on competitive players. And as much as I liked that, it definitely did take away some time from making new Pokemon in development. Most of it was dedicated to making new features, of course, making the new region and design for the 3DS, for X and Y, and that's why probably there weren't as many new Pokemon. Now that X and Y of Oras has been established, and they're used to making the Pokemon games for 3DS, I'm hoping now with Moon and Sun, they've allotted a lot of their development time to actually making a region full of natives and not just like 70 and then a bunch of old Pokemon, which is sort of the X and Y approach. But honestly, like at this point, I'm a little scared about that because honestly, the information that we got the other day, that information should have been released at the announcement. Like, remember that one Nintendo Direct where they're gonna tell us like, oh, it's gonna be like Moon and Sun information after the big reveal, and they showed absolute jack shit. Remember that, guys? That was like a month ago, if I recall correctly. The information we got just the other day, that should have been shown way back then, and the fact that they're withholding so much information from us, that we're not getting all that much, like, we actually did get a quantity amount. We got guaranteed at least 10 new Pokemon. That was an interview with Masuda, if I recall correctly, where he said, oh yeah, like, the stage we're at now, you're guaranteed at least 10 new Pokemon. Like, who says that? It just seems like an odd thing to say. Like, of course there's going to be at least 10 new Pokemon. 9 of them are starters. So, just the fact that he would say something like that indicates to me that we might get another generation with, like, very, very few new Pokemon. And if that's the approach they take again, then we better see the stress in development in the game. Like, we better be getting some, like, new cool ass mechanics, crazy character customization, something where we can tell, like, oh, okay, this is where they spent all of their time. And we can excuse the fact that maybe there's only gonna be another like 70 new Pokemon. And there better be a goddamn post game. Jesus Christ. That's like the biggest thing that kind of left, that was lacking from Oras. Like, really? We didn't get a Battle Frontier in Oras? Even though we got a whole bunch of things from Crystal and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. In my opinion, if they're gonna keep up with this trend of making remakes, Heart Gold Soul Silver is the benchmark. I'm not saying it's a perfect remake or even a perfect Pokemon game. It's up there, I think. It's one of my favorites. But that should be your benchmark. Alright? So, if we're only gonna get like 50 to 60 to 70 new Pokemon, and they're not gonna take the Black and White 1 approach, which I think would be amazing for this game, if they're not gonna do that, you better be damn sure that we're gonna get some post-game. Some kind of incarnation of the Battle Frontier. Like the Battle Frontier it even made an appearance in Heart Gold Soul Silver, and it was great. That was the best post-game we've had since that point. I mean, the World Tournament from Black and White 2 was awesome, but it was mostly just fan service. I mean, it was just fan servicey, I feel like, and while it was fun, it felt kind of hollow compared to the amount of substance to the Battle Frontier. And also, what the fuck is up with Zygarde, man? they need to have like that needs to be maybe that can be part of the post game, right? Have like an entire new area dedicated to like a Zygarde side quest, sort of like Sevi Islands in Fire Red Leaf Green. That would be amazing. We haven't had that kind of like post game material in a while, and like honestly, I feel like Zygarde, poor Zygarde, got like forgotten. Like nobody's even talked about like the new Zygarde forms and how that's gonna play into all of this in a good while. It's almost like Game Freak was like, all right, we're all geared up for 7th gen. We have our ideas together, and then somewhere down the line, they realize, oh shit, we forgot about Zygarde, and what are we gonna do? Because the transformations for Zygarde have already been released. So is that gonna be something that's gonna be appearing in Moon and Sun? I hope so. That makes for, I mean, that's a perfect opportunity to get to have some meat onto the post game. You beat the Elite Four, you catch the legendaries, do all of that, and then you can do the Zygarde quest. And then if they have like the Zygarde quest, give us some incarnation of the Battle Frontier, and maybe some other thing on in the region involving some extra legendary Pokemon. That's a good like 20-hour post game right there. That would be enough. I would be satisfied with that. Give us Zygarde stuff, give us Battle Frontier, and a little bit extra, and we're good. That's all I ask for. After, like, the bare bones that X, Y, and Oras felt like, don't give us Battle Maison again, alright? Like, it's not horrible, but, like, they gotta give us something more in Moon and Sun. Especially now that they've set a precedent for not giving us a third version. We're never gonna see Z version. So yeah, those are my thoughts and all that. Oh, and character customization. They didn't really show it off in this reveal, if it is there at all, which really worries me because what is the first thing they showed off in X and Y? Like those gameplay trailers that were released. I don't think it was like the first one, but very early when they announced X and Y, they showed off character customization. If it's just copy and pasted from X and Y, I'll be a little disappointed. I feel like this would be their opportunity to expand on that, to expand on the bare bones customization from X and Y and make it very cool. Like, didn't Pokemon Battle Revolution even, like people think X and Y is the first game with character customization. That's not true. Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii had character customization, and it wasn't really too fleshed out, but it certainly had more to it than X and Y actually, now that I remember correctly. So it's not like they haven't done this before. Just give us more of it, alright? Alright. So I mean, in conclusion, based on the news we got right now, I really am hoping they take the Black and White 1 approach rather than the X and Y approach. And that's in terms of like the Pokemon that are going to be in the game. Since it looks like the region is based on Hawaii, Hawaii is a set of islands, it would make perfect sense to one, have like post-game areas outside of the main region. For one, that would make sense. And second, if all of the Pokemon in the main campaign, the main campaign of the game, which is getting to Elite Four, beating the champion, all of that, up until that point, only 7th gen Pokemon. I think that would spike the intrigue for the game, and it would be a fresh of breath air after X and Y and Oras, where they just threw all of the old Pokemon back on us. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's definitely time for a breath of fresh air. Because let's be real here, there were so few 6th gen Pokemon, and the good ones were so far in between that for the campaigns of both Oras and X and Y, we just ended up using Pokemon we were familiar with. And the whole magic of the Pokemon single-player experience is experiencing the unknown. That's the great part about it. That's why everybody has nostalgia glasses for Gen 1. That's part of the reason. So yeah, those were my thoughts on Moon and Sun. Going into, now that they're willing to reveal some information to us, And I just hope that we keep getting good stuff like this. And alright, I guess that's it. I mean, I guess you guys can continue watching like whatever gameplay I have in the background. Comment your thoughts on Sun and Moon, what you personally want. I've outlined my most desired things. I want Rowlet to be good. That's the last one, which is really just minor. The starters, like you never know with the starters. They're so unpredictable. They range from like the amazingness of Blaziken and Greninja to stuff like Meganium. Alright, well, I'm gonna see you guys next time.